Welcome to the Extra Sheep Showdown, an extra special casted game on Himeyama with two of the hosts of the Extra Sheep podcast. On the west side of the map, in red, we have Howard Beale as Zushi's Legacy, and on the east side in the teal, we have Sokoton as the Ayyubids. So, the Extra Sheep podcast, if you didn't know, if you haven't seen it, you really should. It's an amazing Age of Empires 4 podcast hosted by Sokoton with Beale, also with Askeladd and Caleb Karamari, and they also have loads of other guests. Really, really great. A really great listen. When you aren't able to actually get on the game yourself, you can keep their chats and listen to them talking about the game for literally hours. So I'll put the link in the description. Also, both of these guys stream, so I'm going to put that down there as well, so you can follow them on Twitch, you can listen to them on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts and all of that good stuff. Now, these guys are playing their main civilizations at the moment. So I've seen Beale playing Zushi for a little while this season since coming back, and Sokoton is an Ayyubid main, or has been since they came out, but he's definitely been experimenting with lots of other civs, which is very nice to see. Now, you are also going to be watching the Scout Vision, which I know Sokoton is going to absolutely love, because he's going to literally be able to see every single sheep being picked up on the map as they're going around. So, talking about their scouting paths, you'll have seen it already so far. Now, Sokoton has done kind of what I would expect as the normal scouting path, which is kind of across the middle towards your opponent's base, and then because he saw Beale outside the front, he then went down and around, and he's now working his way around the sort of southeast side, and it looks like actually he's doing significantly better with sheep at the moment. So he has 9 at the time of speaking, and Beale has 5, just literally just picked up another one, so there are probably a couple more in the bag for him in a minute. So generally I think they've done pretty well, but usually the idea is you go over the middle, but this map is a bit strange in terms of the sheep spawn, because they're around your base, around the hill where you start. The sheep usually spawn in a circle, and then they're kind of randomly scattered around the map. So actually the fact that Sokoton got a few more around that south side actually just kind of means that's just where they spawned. But generally around your base there are quite a few, so that's why some people will tend to scout their own base. I actually prefer going across the middle and scouting around my opponent's base and then doing the opposite side. But you know, horses for courses, and you know, scouting path for sheep. So Sushi is about to age up. We're going to be seeing a meditation garden, because you always do. Let's take a look at the spawns now. Beale's beaten me to it, so he has gone here. He's just caught the edge of that gold vein. Really nice. Remembering that with the meditation garden, you don't have to get the whole vein, you only have to just get the corner. Whereas with wood, it's based on how many individual trees, and with the berries, it's based on how many bushes. So if all of these are covered, that means he's going to get food from all of them and get the stone. No wood, so a little bit of gold, little bit of stone, little bit of food. That's pretty good. There aren't really any better spots. I would say he could probably have gone for one here and gone for double gold and berries, but maybe that stone is going to come in handy for him depending on what he's planning on doing. Now, if we head over to Sokoton's side, he is going for the economic growth wing with the 3 villagers and the 50 extra food from his orchard. So he hasn't split his villagers on these berry bushes. So normally when you're going for that growth wing, you'd put like 1 villager on each of these to not exhaust them before the age up comes through. So if I can actually select it with the villagers there, come on bush, there we go. So we've still got a bit. He's going to be getting that. Does that come in advance? It looks like it kind of does. But anyway, so basically you want to keep those going so that you can get more free berries, basically. We can also see that Sokoton is going for the tower on his gold, so it looks like it's going to be an Ayyubid fast castle. He's very much a fast castle enjoyer, and this is the sort of game that I love to see. So there we go, trying to ruin Beale's meditation on the backside. But these guys know each other very, very well. They've casted lots of games together, they host a podcast together, so they know how each other likes to play. So this is going to be really interesting to see how they go against that. So even from listening to the podcast, I know that Sokoton likes a fast castle. He used to play HRE, he now plays Ayyubids and quite a few other civs, and fast castle is one of the strategies that he really enjoys doing. We can see going for the stone, so a nice little stone pool here, no mining camp, but getting just enough to get get the arrow slits in there, which is going to defend that. So pretty decent tower position. The problem with Himeyama is everything is forward. Those 3 extra villagers coming out, giving him a little bit of an eco boost, and he spotted out the first Chuganu that are Chuganooing their way across the map. So they're going to be able to do a bit of damage. Now, if the tower is able to get its arrow slits up quickly enough, it can probably put a stop to this, but it's going to take a few more seconds, so he's going to have to pull off berries. There we go. So this is going to delay his fast castle just a little bit, but he has got a decent number of sheep. Now, Beal is going to have to be very careful in this one because he has got now committed 2 units, so he's got to try and find some damage. We can see from the scouting path his scout is going to go around all the resources, and his Chuganu are also trying to find a position to attack from. Now, Sokoton is on his sheep, so he's kind of nice and safe under TC range. He's now got arrow slits there, and those Chuganu are not going to want to go under that, even to try and snipe one little villager. It's hardly worth it. So whether we're going to see any rams, if Beal's going to keep producing, or he's going to do a bit of a switch on his side to a fast castle himself. So we can see villagers going out onto the deer. So this is exactly what I was thinking he might do. So we can see here one of the Chuganu getting caught by those arrow slits and taken out. So nice little pull there from Sokoton. Again, the scout just outside range, but as soon as you garrison, this is something that some people don't know. When you garrison, the range actually extends ever so slightly. So actually, just by chucking those in, Sokoton was managed to do quite a lot of damage to that scout. But when you see this, you're going for some feudal units like this, you've kind of got 2 choices. You've either got to fully commit and just go ham, go crazy, or you can do what Beal's done here and shift your economy, keep those units, idling them, and then try and get to castle yourself. So obviously we've got the deer here, no scout around to push these in, but that's going to boost his economy, and survival techniques has just come through, which will work really nicely. So Beal circling around his units, checking that he's not on stone, checking he's not on gold. This spawn actually for Sokoton's really good because this back golden stone is really easy to defend. Just a little wall here, and actually he's pretty much laughing. He's also got a super back berries, which is nice, and this little wall's really stopping that circle around. So unless Beal can somehow get vision, maybe even a little tower here, he's not going to be able to do any damage against these guys, and Sokoton's now able to go back onto the berries at the front. If we take a look, we can see a couple more Chuganu in queue, so they're trying to catch Sokoton's scout as he goes up. Let's take a little look at the age up. So he's gone for the advancement wing, so he gets this 20% quicker and for 400 less. Obviously Zushi also gets theirs cheaper, so actually they're going to be going up at a very similar time. Now Sokoton can't speed his up because it's in the House of Wisdom, whereas Beal can. He can chuck a load of villagers and they get the quicker building speed, so he's going to be able to go and grab relics immediately. So interesting to go for this one. It's good because it saves you some resources, and obviously if he's going for those armored units, that's going to be something he can get out quickly. I was half expecting maybe dervishes, but you know, but also looking at these, so if I'm right, which I usually am, unless you ask my wife, the age ups at the top line over here are the normal wing without any stars. So if he'd gone for the other eco wing or the other culture wing, the ones at the bottom like the wooden stuff, that would have that little star on top. So you know, good to know. Both guys in castle, and we're already on income per minute. Sorry, I know I keep switching, I know everyone hates it. Tell me in the comments. I love you guys. So we can see a couple of spears coming across to try and do that, and Sokoton is going into the camel lancers. So this is the Ayyubid version of a knight. It's kind of somewhere between a camel and a knight, basically. So these guys are really strong, really good at raiding, and they have the ability that they get extra damage the longer they charge. So there's the ability, you can pause and read that if you so wish. But these guys are really good for raiding because they can do a super long charge and they get one massive hit on. Now, if we look on Beal's side, he is going to grab these relics. He's trying to get the ones over on Sokoton's side and doing a really nice job of dodging the sacred site on this way over. Now, the problem's going to be if he hits it on the way back, Sokoton's going to know where he is. You've got to be really careful that you don't let your religious units touch these, because as soon as you do that, it sends off like a ping notification as well. We can also see that Sokoton's going for some of his eco-techs now that he's in the castle age, and Beal's just chilling at the back, waiting for some orders with his Chuganu there, trying to find some damage. We've also got the scout chilling on these berries, trying to check. He's definitely keeping an eye on the food. This is really interesting. interesting. So we can see he's scouting the food here. He's also got his units chilling by these berries. So it does mean that once Sokoton uses all of these sheep, he's going to have to go out somewhere. Obviously, he can't go for boar, but there we go. See, the Lancer's already got one down, but the village there to defend, and that TC is going to take out that camel really quickly because they do have quite a lot of armor, but yeah, they still die to spears. So we can see here another one trying to get some damage, but Beale's already got a tower up with the arrow cannon arrow slits, which is the Chinese version, which is even stronger than usual. So that's definitely working in his favor. Now, when he gets a couple of dervishes out, Sokoton will be able to heal these up. So whether he's going to try and pull those back and make a little mobile hospital, we'll have to wait and see. But another one coming into there, trying to get some damage. Is Beale going to notice? One down. Oh, those low health ones, did they get... They just about made it out. So this is the problem with the pathing. Even when you try and get the one unit, you can just miss them. So there's a couple of low health ones there. So if Sokoton's really clever with how he hits this next time, he could get another 3 of those guys down. So 2 already, and because of the eco wing, he's also getting that as well. Now, let's take a little look. We've got one Shaolin monk here, one over here. So we've only got one relic in the bag so far for Beale, so he's not grabbed this one yet. And also the thing to remember about these Shaolin monks is they can't actually heal themselves. They can't heal other people, they only heal themselves. So this guy standing with the army, he's not really doing a huge amount apart from looking awesome. So he definitely wants to be going out and grabbing relics, whereas Sokoton is doing a good job. I've already heard a couple of pings. He's got one coming home and he's got another dervish going out as well. So that's definitely going to help his economy from that side. So the Lancer has been taken out by the cheeky little crossbow, and this is also something that I find particularly difficult against Zhu Shi, is that the crossbows, if we take a little look at the model, if we go over here, there we go, so another one taken out there. The crossbows, if we take a little look, they look very, very similar to the Chuganu. They're like, you know, okay, they're different, but they basically look very, very similar. They kind of both have crossbows, so I find it very difficult when I'm against them matched up. So the thing I always like to do is hover over them. That's why you saw that, because then I know what that symbol is. I know that means crossbows. So Sokoton trying to get that relic. Oh, little cheeky bit of a play here, trying to steal Beale's relic at the top. So Beale hasn't been able to go and grab that just yet. If we switch over, because Sushi's relics don't highlight when they pick them up, because, you know, why would we do that? Oh, and because he's shift queued, Beale won't realize that until he gets home. So that's another one gone, another one being picked up by Sokoton, and he's taking a really nice, super safe route home all the way around the top. So one more at the top of the map over here, contested, which looks like it's in Sokoton's favor as he continues to build up those camel lancers. Now, oh, some villagers going down on the back, and Sokoton didn't notice. He sent 6 over there, and the Chuganu's got them straight away. So having these guys sitting here, they weren't idle. They're watching out for the food, because exactly as I mentioned, Beale knows he needs to go for food. So he's got a load of stone. He's getting that, going for another TC because he doesn't want to get out ecoed. Now, the villager numbers might look the same, but Zhu Shi does have these imperial officials, which gives them that extra 20% income. And if we take a little look here, these Chuganu are not going to do well against these camel lancers, because they're armored units. They just destroy Chuganu. So all of those guys are going to go down, but the 6 villagers they took out, that's a lot of damage there for Beale. So now that food at the back has been secured for the time being, and the scout still sitting at the top over here. So obviously Sokoton can't quite see it with his lancer, so he's going to go off and do something else. Now, the spears are over here, so not sure whether they're there to defend the deer. They're just chilling by what was the relic. So it looks like it's 3 for Sokoton so far, and I don't know if either of them have actually scouted. So Beale doesn't know where that one is, and neither does Sokoton. So neither of them actually know where that north relic is. So it looks like that's going to be a 4 relic kind of game. We can also see the Lancer is trying to take out that tower, idling up that economy, gonna probably get hit for that last little bit of health. Yet one big shot there. So another Lancer going down, and Beale is going for the Song Dynasty. So he's also thinking in an eco sense, because he's a little bit worried now probably about that 2TC that Sokoton's got cooking over on the top side. So now if he gets the Jiangnan Tower going, which we can see is going to be built over here, that's going to mean that in the Song Dynasty, all of his eco buildings are a lot cheaper. So he can do his nice big farm transition. He's also got the passive stone, so he could get a cheaper TC. And the Jiangnan Tower also gives you the ability that when you build a production building, you get a free unit. So if you build a load of stables, you just get free horses. Against camels, you don't really want horses, but you know what I'm saying. We've got a couple of dervishes over here, so they don't have, because he didn't go for the dervish wing, they don't get that auto ability on permanently, because that is absolutely insane. The amount of healing they get is really, really amazing. But these guys will be able to heal up units, and then Sokoton can use this as a cooldown ability to keep his units alive. So this circling round, this is going to be able to do a lot of damage if Sokoton can do it. No scout, so his vision's a little bit limited, but the Song Dynasty does come through, and now they're diving in and they're going to get a lot of damage here. I think we're going to see a lot of these red villagers disappearing into the night. Camel Lancers going in and doing a huge amount there, villagers running, the Imperial official also making it away, and Beal then trying to reroute his troops. Another villager going down. That's a huge catch there, up to 14 villagers down, and these guys are running away, but it looks like they're going to... Oh, Sokoton's just moved away. Does he see them? It looks like he does, and the wall actually is going to work against Beal in this case. There's going to be some more villagers going down. Oh, this is really bad. These guys, they're going to get caught by the spears, but to be honest, it looks like they don't care about that, trying to make it away. The archers sitting on the backside really need to get onto these spears, but the camels are actually making the horses worse, and they're just going for villagers. They don't even care anymore. They know they're going down, and they're going to take as many Zushi villagers with them as they possibly can. So a couple of them making it away, and 16 villagers taken out now. So the villager difference is definitely starting to mount up, and the food for Beal is really starting to decrease. So dervishes just chilling. So I think it's because the dervishes don't get picked up with all military, because they're not technically a military unit. So that's why they're chilling over here. But now they're going to be like kind of like secret scouts as Beal chases all of these units across the map. So maybe a couple of palace guards here for a little bit of speed would be pretty good. But Sokoton is coming back to his base to regroup, as his second TC is really starting to build up that eco lead now, 55 against 41, especially with those that he's taken out, but it's a very slow increase. Also, these relics, all of these are going to be doing a big job to help his economy, which is really, really good for him. So it looks like the composition, we got a couple of Gulams coming in, but mainly sticking to the camels, and the eco is looking really, really strong. Whether Sokoton's looking at sort of moving into an imperial age, not so sure. He is floating quite a lot of resources, but so it might be intentional, but he has got a lot of stone as well, so whether he's going for a keep somewhere on some food. So we've got a couple of towers on the back. This map is really difficult to wall in, because you basically have to wall all the way across this huge gap. So actually a couple of towers like this isn't a bad move, but the berries probably will get depleted before the towers go up, but let's not worry about that so much. Spears coming in to idle them, and it looks like Sokoton's just going to get the tower up, garrison another 5, and then those spears will be taken out. But there's only about 300 more food on those berry patches, so not sure that double tower on that is so worth it, but it's you know, every bit of food helps in this case. Beal, oh no, he thinks he's decapping, but he's not. He's just off it, so that is still going to be giving Sokoton some gold. And the thing to remember on this map, or all maps, is you want to be playing the map. And this one, there are only 2 sacred sites. So there's one here and one up at the top. So one of the things you want to do, it's a bit like King of the Hill. The dervishes have been found, so now Sokoton probably also realizes that the dervish has just been sitting there chilling, but because there's only 2 sacred sites, you kind of want to take that as a priority, really. So neither of these players are, let's say, religious victory focused necessarily, but with there only being 2, like Sokoton's doing here, defending it with a keep, walling them in. So for example, like here, you could actually wall in this side pretty easily. You could also wall in the market if you wanted to stop any market shenanigans, but basically a quick wall down the bottom and then straight across to the stone up here and then to the pond in the middle would basically keep this a lot more defendable, and then you can also secure the top one, which actually is pretty good because of these wood lines. So a little wall here and then a little wall down the front, and then you're pretty good. we can see that Sokoton's really starting to mass up over by this keep, really trying to defend this. So whether he thinks he's got the top one, I'm not so sure, because the problem now is it's a bit like going down the side lane on the pit. Now the top lane is also going to be exposed, so he is going to push into the base, but it has meant that a couple of horses are going to be around here doing some damage, and they should have the Dali horses upgrade being Zhu Shi, which means they get an extra 20% damage, attack speed, not damage, which is really, really good. So pushing into the base, we've got a big mass of crossbows here trying to work on these Ghulams, and obviously being Ayyubid, they don't get boot camp, so no increased health for those Ghulams, and they are going to be taken out very, very quickly by that crossbow mass. Horsemen also included in the mix to tank up some damage, and they're going to be able to take out those crossbows on the Ayyubid side very, very well. But a couple of camels did make it out, so we're going to check where they're going. Another TC being dropped on the back, but Sokoton splitting these guys off, and I don't think Beal knows they're in his base. And oh, Sokoton knows, so Beal's noticed, but he's going around here, he's trying to stop the food, he's trying to idle that up. We can see these units coming down onto the keep, trying to defend over here. A couple of horses catching some more damage on the top. Nice little bit of raiding here from Beal, but these lancers getting caught, and horses are not the play. They're getting, you can see the little sick poisoned debuff and oh no, they're trying to drop a village, because then there's so many garrison spaces in those villages. There's 8 rather than 5, and the population space and all that sort of stuff. But just that little charge off those camels has done a huge amount of damage. 19 villagers down so far, and Beal is going to really start to struggle unless he can secure his base and start getting some more villagers for that eco. So definitely wants to be thinking about how he's going to close his base. I'd definitely be walling across the front, even if it's across here, and then maybe by the gold, literally finishing off the gold, and 2 just around the front basically. It's but obviously Sokoton is pushing him hard, and that does mean that he doesn't have to necessarily wall in so much. But if Beal decides to do a bit of a counter push, then Sokoton's base is completely exposed. The only wall is actually the tiny little one from earlier, but we can see here villagers just chilling, getting some berries, and I think they're not going to be lasting too much longer. But the horsemen getting caught by the spears, Chuganu and the crossbows trying to catch those guys before they get them. This is where the micro is really important. All of the ranged units just fighting the mill, because that's, you know, the military priority in this case. So here we go. So everything torching down that mill. Not sure exactly why they're going for that as such a priority, but the spears are taken out, and then it means the horsemen are going to be able to play. We've also got a nest of bees and a treb in play for Beal hidden somewhere, and Sokoton is going back to base, regrouping, ready to defend this big push on the north side. So I think going for this mill actually is going to be giving Sokoton a lot of time to regroup and get into position, because Beal can't really do much damage. There's lots of buildings, but the villagers are all on this backside over here. A nice defensive keep going up as well, and so this is where the dervish caught out and just taken out immediately. So looking at the eco, even with the extra villagers, it does look like they're fairly even. Let's go into the cinematic mode so we can watch this. No spears on the Zhu Shi side, so all of these horses and armored units are going to be doing a lot, and there's just no front line. The crossbows and Chuganu are really good, but they just don't have a front line, and they're just getting absolutely slapped about by these melee units. Crossbows on the back just to pepper them with those bolts, and Beal doing a really good job of kiting here, trying to keep these guys alive, but just even that one horseman on the front with the Ghulam is doing a huge amount of damage. And now the military is really starting to move into Sokoton's favour. So Beal is able to produce them. He does have the Imperial officials at home, so he is going to be able to mass up a lot more quickly, but now this eco over here on Sokoton's side is very well defended. Nice little keep, and also I probably would have walled this side by now, even just one big wall down here just to secure it up to stop any raiding shenanigans. But Sokoton's doing the 10-4 Tim no wall challenge in this particular game. We can also see that he's got his units shifting around trying to deny them. Now going for the tower. Again, okay, this one does have the arrow slit, so I do see the advantage of taking that one out, so your units aren't going to be taking any unnecessary damage. But some spears coming in, trying to stop those horses on the front as the Zhu Shi come in formation slowly working their way forward, trying to get a good engagement. So very even numbers at this stage, but those horsemen are, the horsemen getting past the spears is really not so good. They are going to be taken out. Excuse me. And now this is the difference. The front line there is really going to keep those units off, but it does look like Ayyubids Soccerton has the numbers at this stage, and he's really moving into position, getting his crossbows and his archers as close as possible so he can hit as much. And now taking advantage of the field engineering that they get, where they can build siege on the field, obviously. They can build mangonels literally exactly where they want, but Nest of Bees going to be coming out. Is it going to get hit on? Are we going to see it? Come on, Nest of Bees. One big shot, and that's disappointing, to say the least. So all siege has been a bit nerfed, and I remember where one Nest of Bees like that would literally be the bane of your life, but Soccerton doesn't realise that he's getting peppered here by those little sparky bolts, and the mangonels have come in, but they've taken a huge amount of damage, actually probably more than all of the units, and it does look like the mangonels are probably going to be taken out before they can even do any work. Horses coming in, so actually that was a really good fight for Beal, because Soccerton was building those and didn't actually defend against those ranged units. But excuse me, talking so much here, I'm got a little bit of a tickle in my throat. So a couple of rams trying to take down the keep over here. I'd love to see these rams taking it from this side, because they would also decap the sacred site at the same time, but a couple of villagers bringing their torches out to get rid of those rams quick sharp. Beal massing up at the front. His military units are looking very strong. He does need to try and push out now and do some damage, because Soccerton is going to be building even more of that eco lead. We can see that Beal has a couple of extra TCs now. At least he's got 2 TCs now, so he's going to be able to at least keep the gap from growing, but he definitely needs to be pushing out and trying to do some extra damage. Also, focusing heavily on this keep, I won't worry too much. There's only one sacred site ticking, so I would definitely be focusing on this mass that's building on the top side of the pond. So looking at Soccerton's base, we can see he's still out on the berries, making use of the food on the map, which I think is a really good choice in this case, rather than trying to add tons more farms as he goes. He does have a really nice farm transition. He's almost used up all of this safe wood, and then his nearest wood line is actually right on the top here, so this spawn really not favouring him in a wood sense, so he's going to be pushed all the way out there very, very shortly. But Beal doing a nice job of massing up, but I think doing this, the longer this goes on, I think it's eco-wise, it's going to be more and more in Soccerton's favour. So let's see how this big push goes. The units not all in the same place. Beal trying to defend all across the front of his base. Mangonel getting a big shot off, but on the melee units, the crossbows trying to circle around from the sides. Horsemen trying to get on top of the mangonels as well. This is looking pretty good for Zushi at this stage, and Soccerton going back to regroup, trying to work his way around the pond, and this is where Beal needs to push to try and get over and do some more damage. If we take a little look at the production at this stage, Soccerton has 10 buildings and Beal has a lot, 15, so he's going to have a much better time at using all of those things. But the more camel lancers, and they're just, the spears are getting taken out very slowly, and once they're down, it's going to be very difficult to deal with that, because this ranged mass just doesn't have that front line. So I think these guys are going to get caught again. No kiting from Beal. He could do a little bit of damage as they run away, but he definitely needs to just be pumping an absolute ton of spears. I wouldn't be going into horsemen against the camels because of that debuff. They are going to be much less effective. So looking at this, Beal is very, very low on food at the moment, so definitely wants to be shifting some of that gold over to food. Doing that, he's getting his full granary set up, and that means his food income is going to go through the roof. Also, we can see a ton of Ghulams coming over from the other side. Now, this is a front line. These guys can really pack a punch, and they're going to keep all of those Zushi units off of those ranged and the camels for a good while. So we've got a really nice mix here of crossbows and archers, Ghulam and spears, and then some camels in. Both players basically going for the same combination, except we've got a mangonel on this side and we've got a nest of bees over here. So we can see Beal is actually stonewalling the market. So whether he's thinking of some trade, little bit of an odd choice, but okay, sure, we'll wait and see what he's cooking. He still hasn't decapped this sacred site. I literally could just chuck the ram on there, but These villagers now sitting idle there, so whether he's planning on trying to secure up some of this gold on the bottom side for his villagers, let's see what he's planning on doing. We can see that he's actually moving there and going to the wood. But these camels are going onto this front wood line that's completely exposed. A lot of villagers about to get hit by that charge. Oh dear, that's a lot of damage. Look at those villagers melting. They must be made of ice because they are literally just falling apart. Nice bit of micro here from Sokoton, moving on top of them to really get a nice big hit on them. Horses getting debuffed by the camel unease. And here come the two main forces. This looks like the big fight to end all fights. Villagers shifting out of the way. Sokoton doing a really nice job of keeping his units together. Beals are a little bit more scattered, so these guys are getting taken out slowly before the reinforcements come in. This is really hurting the overall numbers here from Beal. Also moving in formation with the nest of bees, so they're a little bit slower. Camels just absolutely shredding all of these units. Frontline taken out, and they're going for the siege at the back as well, but this, I think, is the Ayyubid tide that's going to be a little bit too hard to stop. Nest of Beast trying its best to do it, taken out by those camels. Trebuchet getting slapped on the back, and the Zushi forces have absolutely been decimated by the camel Gulam mass. Beal is going to be reeling from that big fight. His eco is in tatters. 104 eco against 71, and he's trying his best to produce as much as possible. Spears in queue, 20 spears trying to come out to stop this mass, as well as some crossbows. A cheeky Treb on the back as well, trying to do it. And we've also got the kinetic. We've got the incendiary bombs. The Ayyubids get the double ones, so they do extra damage against buildings. So they're going to be able to take those out as well, while the Lancers and Gulams run in and idle up that Zushi economy. So this is definitely the sign of keeping your units together like this. You can do so much more damage, and this is going to be really difficult to defend. Beal doing an amazing job of regrouping, but he's got to keep them together and get them off his eco if he's got any chance of coming back from this. A lot in the bank, but if his production's taken out, Sokoton's doing a great job of targeting all that production. If that goes down, he's not going to be able to regroup, but his villagers are getting hit. 47 taken out now. 60 is almost going to be half of the Ayyubid economy. Those spears are trying to take out the Gulam, but there's just not enough. And the Gulams do really well against spears because of their double hit ability and their melee armor. Villagers running around like crazy through the eco, trying to find somewhere safe to hide until the storm is gone. But it looks like Sokoton's going to keep pumping and keep pushing, and they're going to have nowhere to go. So circling around, nice bit of villager micro here, trying to keep them alive as much as possible. 63 villagers down, the numbers growing, and Beal doing his best to do it, pulling all these units. Come on, guys, you need to join the fight, but Sokoton's coming in from the back side as well. He's trying to stop them from getting on top of him, but it looks like some more units are flooding across. Mangonel's coming in to try and get the mass. 63 Ayyubid units to 39, so Beal's still pushing through. 70 Zushi villagers gone down at this stage. More of them trying to move to safety, getting caught out as they're running through, but those units are just getting absolutely decimated in the base. Mangonel shots on the back, just missing those Chuganu, and the Ayyubid archers are just taking them out slowly. Mangonel doing a massive shot there, and another wave coming in. So Beal trying to defend. He definitely needs to mass up if he's going for these kind of pushes. Losing these little units like this is definitely going to mean he's going to have so much trouble getting to the end. So it looks like that might be the last of his forces, and Beal calls it a really stoic defense, but Sokoton had him at the end. So I hope you've enjoyed this casted game, and definitely check out the Extra Sheep podcast for some more Age of Empires action.